All right, good morning, everybody. Day 2 of training camp. Couple of updates. Scottie Barnes, he did practice with the team yesterday, was just getting treatment when we were in the building. David Roddy is on an Exhibit 9 deal or Exhibit 10 deal. Exhibit 10.
Precious Achua is on an Exhibit 9.
Precious Achua is on an Exhibit 9. But yeah, no, he's on an Exhibit 10 deal. See if we'll make the final roster. And Over Shamshay was in street clothes, so we'll get an update today and see if he's all right and ready to go for the rest of camp.
Let's rock! That's the final sign.
Am I baseline yet? Yeah. Okay, day 2 of training camp is done. Pretty quiet. We didn't get to see too much today in comparison to day 1. Thoughts, opinions?
A lot of it that sticks out is Scottie talking about his usage.
Yeah.
CMB,
Darko also mentioning about him. Yeah.
Darko talking about his usage. More off-ball stuff. Definitively, Darko says not as much on-ball Scottie this season, which I think makes sense. Obviously, just by Brandon's presence, one, but also it gives us a huge opportunity to Scottie to score more off ball.
Brandon's presence, I think, is going to really help to unlock what Scottie does really well. You know, last year we had Scottie play on the ball a lot, which we're going to continue seeing that and doing that. But also when he plays off the ball, when he's screener and roller, when he plays in the dunker spot, just allows him to go more, get offensive rebounds and be efficient in that area. Scottie is really force for us in transition in open court with his early steals and post-ups. So I think they're going to complement each other quite well, to be honest with you.
And do you think like Scottie will still play a lot of time on the ball, or is it just sort of more of a mix?
I think it's going to be a little bit less than it was in the past. So obviously with Quick, with RJ, with Bia, with Scottie, all of those guys can handle the ball. So they will be splitting those responsibilities more this year.
And then CMB obviously talking about his physicality.
Yeah.
And Scottie talking about CMB's physicality. Everyone talks about CMB's physicality. It's the one thing he brings to the NBA, surefire ready.
Yeah.
Collin is super physical, super aggressive. On the defensive side, you know, he's a beast, he's a monster. Where he's able to get those deflections, you know, he's got to be dangerous in transition. Where he's able to show his athleticism because he's very athletic for his size. He's very strong. And you know, he has a lot of great tools.
On the Scottie note, I think it was really interesting that Darko just kind of laid it out there and said you're not going to see as much on-ball opportunity. You know, usually you might see a coach kind of dance around that question, but he was very straightforward with the fact that we're probably not going to see as much on-ball creation from him. But he also went ahead and listed a litany of guys who might handle the ball for this team, which is, we knew that coming into it, right? But RJ, IQ, Scottie, BI, Jamal, all these guys are going to be kind of tasked with handling the ball at some point. That should put them in more advantageous positions to thrive off of the ball. We've talked about Scottie's efficiency a lot, and I think he will have a more efficient season just by proxy of playing with Brandon Ingram. He mentioned being a play finisher, working as a screener. That's the part that intrigues me for Scottie's game, and I think if anybody is here and wants to be excited about next season, it's seeing that version of Scottie in a maximized role. You know?
And also, just this is a play type thing, but it's also a transition thing.
Yeah.
It seems like they plan on having more hit aheads this year. Emmanuel's going to handle the ball more to advance it, probably to guys like Scottie.
Yeah.
Scottie was the one left advancing it too often, and other guys last year were the guys who were put in finishing positions, and the efficiency tanked. If you have Scottie running up court catching, you probably see efficiency for himself and for the team go up in these play types.
Yeah, Darko mentioned something specifically, which was first action, I want to say. I can't, maybe...
First action. It's a terminology in the NBA, for sure.
Which is just the first thing you do, make a quick decision. And that will help them offensively a ton, because we talked about it a couple of pods ago. They left a lot on the table in transition. Specifically, Scottie left a lot on the table in transition because he was settling for mid-range shots.
350th in the NBA in transition efficiency for his own scoring.
Yeah, and for all of his talents, that's an area he can dominate.
Should dominate.
So, I don't know. I think that's one of the main reads from this training camp today. I guess the other thing is Collin Murray-Boyles. Very exciting to see how he looks. Darko also mentioned that, he's good with the ball in his hands.
Offensively, he's going to be a player that he can pass the ball really well. So we would like to see the ball in his hands. Is that bringing the ball up the floor? Is that catching and attacking closeouts? Is there going to be some pick and rolls or pick and pops? I think he can do quite a bit there for us. And it's going to be really interesting pairing him up together with Sandro, together with Scottie. Who is the roller? Who is spacing? I think it's going to open up a lot of options for us offensively.
Is there an aspect of your game that has translated better than you might have expected, and an aspect that you're like, damn, this is actually really physicality? That's what all your teammates talk about. What's that like, meeting guys like that?
It's really just my mentality coming into it, what I can give these guys. Obviously, I want to give them the hardest time on offense. That's how I'm making them better. Especially the offensive heavy guys that the offense flows through. I want to make it as hard as possible on them, so it is easier for them in the game. So just trying to bring an edge to the team, just try to figure out how I can contribute.
How do they respond, the tagging up on offensive rebounding and that backcourt pressure? How have you been able to do that?
It only makes them better. They can't do nothing about it because it's legal. So, they're going to complain, they're going to get better and learn from it.
Yeah. They will be putting the ball in his hands early on. He said whether that's in transition, like we just talked about, or trying to set him up to be a creator at the elbows because he's so used to that from his time in college. But
you know what? I appreciate he looks at you when he talks
look at
to you.
you.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
It matters. It matters to people. It might not matter to anybody else, but to us, it makes you, because I know they're talking to a million people at a time. They don't have to. But it's nice when you get to OG was really good at that. You're talking to somebody.
That would surprise people that OG was good at that.
OG was my favorite because you just have a conversation with
direct
him.
conversation. Yeah. Darko is also very good with eye contact. He's
locked in,
staring at your soul type of eye contact. Yeah. I think it was a pretty quiet training camp day, truthfully. Saw them stretch, which, whatever, looked...
I mean, you're probably just seeing stretch footage over top of what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
There wasn't the same type of one-on-one back and forth.
Yeah.
They were having shooting competitions, which of course they do. And I'll say, yesterday, because I saw comments, people are kind of hand-wringing or worried about Brandon not scoring easily on Ochai. This is not 100%. This is not the most intense representation of how it looks.
People were talking about that.
Yeah, and
that's
it's
surprising.
it's not a bellwether for how well Brandon will score.
Yeah.
Now, like, we try to get more B-roll today so that you guys can look and see.
Yeah.
But training camp is a fun insight, but it's not the end-all be-all, especially not the B-roll we're giving, because they practice for hours before we get
And they
here.
went. This is another part. They went late today, so we got into this whole thing late as well. They went a lot longer than they did on day one. So yeah, they probably went all out, man.
Grinding.
Grinding. You could hear a lot of yelling in this gym, a lot of talking enthusiasm.
Because that's the big thing everyone talks about is they're playing continuous 5-on-5, which
we saw a scoreboard when we got in here too.
They're building up their stamina. That's like the whole that's the whole reason they're doing this. They play continuous 5-on-5s so that it'll never be harder during the season than it is today or yesterday's, because they just have to play. There's no shifts, there's no stops. It's just move, stamina. And the coaching staff and all the players seem to think everybody's responding well to this. And it's a huge feature of how they want to play. So it's a huge feature of what they do at practice.
I thought it was interesting that Scottie said, like, he didn't bake into his decision in the offseason to work on specific things with the presence of Brandon Ingram in mind. It's just sort of understanding what he wants to do moving forward for his career and where he slots in most. I think we'll see a really interesting version of Scottie this year, because we've seen him wear a lot of different hats for this Raptors teams over the course of his 4 years, right? In the OG Pascal Fred years, it was like, I'm going to eat off the scraps of whatever else is available. I'll make plays and do stuff when I have the ball in my hands, but for the most part, I am roaming off of the ball. We saw him evolve defensively, and he's experimented a ton offensively over the last couple of seasons. Now it's like harnessing all of that into a refined version of himself. And I think people should be excited for that version of Scottie.
Role definition for the first time since his rookie season, probably. He's always had like this nebulous idea of who he was, whether that's him trying to make that big leap into a star wing who initiates offense, whether it's being a guy who's a garbage man on offense, who's just cleaning up scraps. It's always been kind of in between. I think this is the first time the Raptors have had structure, expectations to be good, and featuring him as the best player, because he was fantastic in year 3. He made the All-Star team, but it was a weird season where the expectations of the team were all over the place.
Absolutely.
So, and obviously the two other best players, OG and Pascal, left that year. Fred left the year before. It's just a lot of motion and movement, and he should be excited. Everyone should be excited, because I think he's being put in an extremely strong position to succeed.
100%. I think another guy who is going to be put in a strong position to succeed is Quick. Darko was talking about he is at his best when he's attacking closeouts for us. Interesting, right? I mean, it's something we both definitely agree with, that off the ball catching, being able to attack a closeout, to your chagrin, hitting that floater, right? That's part of his bag. It was part of his bag so much in New York. Getting back to that version of IQ, I think will allow him to expend more energy on the defensive end, or at least that's the hope. And we'll see how he looks on a refined role too. I think for everybody on this team, how they look in a role that's more well suited to them. Brandon changes the totem pole, the hierarchy of things, and it changes everything for RJ, IQ, Scottie, etc.
Orisham Shea, not active today. A medical appointment.
Yes, medical appointment. We will hear more.
We don't know anything.
But
so far.
That's basically all we got.
And that's why he wasn't going on yesterday.
Yes.
Medical appointment.
Yeah.
No specifics, just that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's it.
No other interesting notes. Ask questions in the comments.
Yes, let us know.
It informs what we ask and look for while we're here. People always wanted, like, hey, what's going on in X or Y? Jacoby, the unseen man. Jacoby is partaking in all of the guard/wing stuff. He's defending his ass off, and he's getting shots up. And that's what we see. And when people talk about ball pressure, his name always gets mentioned.
Absolutely.
So it's very clear at this point, Jacoby, we'll see it during the season, but he is leading with defense first, which he has the skills to, And the team obviously reveres or is confident in his ability there.
A lot of those young guys will be leading with defense first.
Yes.
We also haven't got a chance to see Grady yet or talk to Grady yet. I'm assuming that'll happen in the next couple of days. We'll be working on something as well. But yeah, I think that's it.
That's it.
Can't call it a podcast, but that's a vlog.
It's something different.
Something. Anyways, they got volleyball coming here, so I'll see you later. New thumbnail right there, baby.
Wait.
Oh, subscribe to Raptors.
Yes,
Republic.
subscribe, like, comment, all
Do you
that good
think?
stuff.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Have a blessed day.
Yeah, do you think?
And whether you got into this in the morning or at night, have a blessed day and goodbye.
Hell yeah. I didn't know this was what we were doing. Okay. Oh. Oh. Little tip.